Have you ever met someone, and right away, your heart felt like it was smiling? Like the whole world got a little brighter and a little softer? This is a story about that kind of magic. A story about a girl named Ellie. And a boy named Noah. And one special summer by the sea in North Carolina. Ellie was 17 years old. She lived in a tiny beach town where everyone knew everyone. The streets smelled like salt and sunscreen and fresh donuts in the morning. Ellie worked at Maggie's Diner, right across from the ocean. She wore a little blue apron and filled glasses with sweet iced tea all day long. She loved watching families laugh, watching little kids chase seagulls, and watching the sun paint pink and orange across the water every evening. One hot July morning, a big Greyhound bus stopped in front of the diner. A boy stepped off with an old green army bag over his shoulder. His name was Noah. He had messy brown hair and kind eyes that looked a little tired and a little sad. Noah had come all the way from Ohio. His mom had passed away the winter before, and his heart still felt heavy and quiet inside. He thought maybe the sound of waves would help fill up some of the empty spaces. Noah walked into the diner to get breakfast. Ellie was rushing with a pitcher of iced tea. And, whoosh, she tripped a little and spilled tea all across his table. Ellie's cheeks turned bright red. "I am so sorry," she said. Noah just looked up and smiled the warmest smile. "Don't be sorry," he said softly. "I was hot anyway. Thank you for the free shower." They both laughed. And that was the very first time their eyes really met. From that day on, something wonderful started happening. Ellie would finish work and ride her bike to the long wooden pier at sunset. She told herself she was just going to watch the water. But secretly, she hoped Noah would be there. And he always was. He would be skipping flat shells across the waves, counting how many times they bounced. Ellie would park her bike and walk out to meet him. They sat on the edge of the pier with their feet dangling above the water, talking until the stars came out. They talked about everything. Ellie told Noah her favorite color was the soft pink of seashells at sunrise. Noah said it was the deep blue of the ocean right before a storm. Ellie said she wanted to grow up and write books that made people feel less alone. Noah said he wanted to build boats. Big, beautiful boats that could carry people to new beginnings. Some nights they bought ice cream cones, chocolate for him, strawberry for her, and walked barefoot along the shore, letting the waves chase their toes. Some nights, they lay on an old blanket and looked for shooting stars. Ellie always closed her eyes and made the same wish. She never told Noah what it was, but he already knew. One evening, a huge summer storm rolled in fast. Black clouds, loud thunder, big fat raindrops. Everyone ran inside, but Ellie and Noah stayed under the pier where it was dry. The rain pounded on the boards above them like drums. Lightning flashed and lit up Noah's face. He looked nervous. He took Ellie's hand. His fingers were shaking. "Ellie," he whispered over the storm, "I have to leave for college in 3 weeks. But I need you to know something right now. I love you. I didn't plan it. But my heart decided the first day you spilled tea on me." Ellie felt tears mix with the rain on her cheeks. She stood on her tiptoes and kissed him, soft, slow, and full of summer. The thunder sounded like the sky was clapping for them. The next weeks were the happiest and the fastest of their lives. They watched the sunrise together. They danced in the warm rain. They carved their names inside a tiny heart on the water tower, E+N forever. They fell asleep on the hood of Noah's old Jeep, holding hands and counting stars. Every moment felt like a treasure they were saving up. Then came the morning Noah had to leave. The bus was waiting. Ellie stood on the sidewalk holding a mixtape she had made, songs that sounded like how Noah made her feel. Her eyes were full of tears. Noah stepped close, put his forehead against hers, and said, "This isn't goodbye, Ellie. This is just the end of chapter 1. Our story is going to have so many more pages." He kissed her one last time, climbed on the bus, and waved until he couldn't see her anymore. Years went by, 15 whole years. Ellie grew up and became the writer she always dreamed of being. Noah learned to build the most beautiful wooden boats. And he named every single one after a place he and Ellie had loved that summer. One October morning, Ellie found a small package on her doorstep. No return address. Inside was one perfect sand dollar. And a note in handwriting she still knew by heart. "I never stopped reading our first chapter. If your heart still remembers, I'll be waiting under our pier at sunset. Love always, Noah." Ellie didn't even pack a bag. She got in her car and drove all night to the beach. When she arrived, the sun was just starting to set, turning the whole sky gold and pink. And there he was, Noah, standing in the same spot. A little older, a little salt and pepper in his hair. Holding that same green army bag. Ellie ran. The sand flew behind her. Noah dropped the bag and opened his arms wide. She jumped into them, and they held each other so tight it felt like no time had passed at all. The next spring, they got married right there on Ocean Isle Beach. Ellie wore tiny white flowers in her hair that smelled like honeysuckle. Noah carried her into the little blue house he had built himself. The one with the big porch that looks out over the waves. And every single night, even when it's cold, even when it rains, they walk hand in hand to the pier. Sit in their favorite spot. And listen to the ocean whisper the same words it said all those years ago. "This love is real. This love is forever. This love is evergreen." Long gentle pause, let the music breathe. Hey, sweet friend. Can you remember the very first time someone made your heart feel big and warm and safe? Maybe it was a person, maybe a pet, maybe a grandparent's hug. I would love to read your happy memory. Please share it in the comments below. I read every single one, and they make me smile so big. If Ellie and Noah's story touched your heart today, please tap that red subscribe button and the little bell beside it. We share a brand new heartwarming story every other day. And I don't want you to miss even one. Thank you for spending this time with me. You are so loved. See you soon for another story that I hope stays in your heart forever.